Welcome back, my beautiful people, to What Hustle, where we ride, we hustle, we repeat. Today, I got a special person that we're going to be interviewing because we're going to be diving into something way bigger than just e-bikes. We're going to be talking about momentum in the second half of life. And joining me is someone who I believe embodies this theme that we're going to be talking about. His name is Bob Berry. He's the creator of the channel Growing Young After 50. And if you don't know him yet, you will be inspired by his story once we get done here. Here's some of the stuff we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about e-bikes. We're going to be talking about an adventure that he had on his e-bike recently. We're going to be talking about some best setups for riding. We're going to be talking about the impact of riding an e-bike for mobility, for energy, and for aging. We're going to be talking about side hustles, one of my favorite subjects, right? We're going to be talking about gig work and give you some strategies on gig work. And without further ado, let me introduce you to Bob. Bob, do us a favor and tell us who you are and what you're about.
Thank you. My name's Bob. I turned 50 in June. I decided that I did not want to waste time and I wanted to start living life again. People ask me why I did this. I tell them, well, my father died in his early 60s. My grandfather died in his early 60s. They never had an opportunity to retire or do something they wanted to do. So I said, I'm just going to pick something, I'm going to go do it. I told my fiance, hey, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. And she laughed and said, oh, what are you going to do? I said, I have no idea, but I'm going to do it. Gave myself a deadline of 2 months. And first video was posted in, I think, 5 weeks. And I've been learning as I go. Matter of fact, my first 4 videos I posted had no sound. Well, they had no talking because I didn't plan on actually posting them. I was just learning how to use the camera and the editing software. And I just went with it. So doing this journey so that I can live and enjoy my life. I can get healthier physically and mentally. And it gives me goals. It gives me motivation to get to that next step. And quite frankly, it gives me motivation to chase people like you down and try to catch up with you and some of the otty creators. Like Scott Hardesty is one of my favorites.
Scott, I'm a big fan of Scott. I agree with
he's
you.
One of my favorites. And I always introducing me to Matt from Electric All Wheel with his collaborations. And, you know, it's been a very amazing experience the past couple months. I've only been doing this for a couple months.
No, and I'm like I said, I told you off camera that I was impressed with what you've been doing. Hence why I wanted you on the show real quick. But let's backtrack a little bit. You said that you gave yourself a deadline of 2 months. Well, that deadline was for what?
To get my channel live.
To get it live. Okay.
Because I didn't want to procrastinate and just say, oh, I'll do it later. I said, nope, I'm doing it. If I stop and think about it, I can think of a million reasons not to.
100%. And that's a great lesson for those that are watching. And it's something that a lot more people should do, right? Because the problem is there's a couple of things that stop people from doing certain things. Number one is fear, right? People get afraid and they're like, I'm not good at something. People are not going to like something. So fear is number one. Number two is going to be over-analyzing things, right?
Bingo.
I come from a real estate investing background, and we have a term that we say a lot is paralysis by analysis, right? People look at stuff and they get overwhelmed and they feel like they're not ready. I don't have enough information. I got to continue to study. I don't know before they take the leap. But I'm glad you gave yourself that 2 months to deadline to just do it. There's a podcaster. What's his? I think it's Think Tank. Think Media. Yes.
I watched so many of his videos
yes.
to figure this beginning part out.
and I'm glad you did, because he one of his theme sayings is just hit record.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And he's 100% right. So,
and never delete.
And exactly.
Never delete.
Exactly. And listen, at the end of the day, everyone has to start someplace, right? And you're better off making all the mistakes possible in the beginning, because that's only going to make you better. One of the things, I don't know if I'm going to give you a sports analogy here. I don't know if you know this, but most high school football stars never make it to the NFL. And the reason being is because when they're in Optimus and in high school, they're so talented, they're so good that they spend very little time learning the craft of being an actual football player. So by the time they get to college, they've developed so many bad habits that they're not good enough and they don't progress enough to make it to the NFL. A great example of that is Tom Brady, the greatest football player on the planet. I don't care who says otherwise, right? Mm-hmm. Tom Brady, he was, if you know his story, he was never a starter. He spent more time on the bench in high school and in college. But what did he do during that time? He learned the craft. He studied.
He honed his craft, yep.
Exactly. So by the time he made it to the NFL, he was such a student of the game, and Bill Belichick the same, that they were able to create probably the best football teams ever. I don't think you're going to see a football team ever duplicate that. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs are very close at getting there, but I don't think they're going to reach the amount of wins and Super Bowl wins that the Patriots did. And again, Brady's not the most talented. He is not the most athletic, but the guy has a work ethic and an ability to learn a craft better than anyone else. That's why he's the greatest quarterback ever to play the game. Mm-hmm. So good for you. Kudos for you. We had talked early on before we came on that you were going to go on an adventure with your e-bike. Did you ever do that ride from Jersey to Philly?
So last month, there's actually two videos up. We parked in the aquarium, Camden Aquarium. It's just along the Delaware River. And the only reason we did that is there's a secure parking lot. So you spend the $10, your car's safe for the day. We got on our bikes and we rode over the bridge all the way through the city to the other side of the city to the Schuylkill River to what's called Boathouse Row. And we went to a place called Cosmic Cafe where the local bike clubs, the local e-bike clubs, they all go there and hang out. And I didn't realize why until I got there. They have all kinds of outlets for them to plug in and charge, so they can all hang out and charge. And it's a Cosmic Cafe and pub, so they actually have alcohol and stuff there too. So if they wanted to do that, they could. So we did that, and then this past weekend we did the Biking Philly, which is a organized ride where there was close to 7,000 riders.
Wow!
Mostly analog pedal bikes. But there was a good amount, we'll say like 5% e-bikes. I'm just ballparking it. You could see an e-bike in every group. And we did that. But this time we actually parked in the city. We had to be there at 6:00 in the morning. And we rode about a half a mile from the parking garage in the city to where our starting bay was. And then it was a 20-mile ride around the city. And the whole route was blocked off and closed to traffic and public. It was only for the bikers. And it was cool to do because you got the ride, like you started at the art museum and you finished at the art museum. So where the Rocky statue is and the steps from the movies, and you went all the way down to Penn's Landing. It was an amazing trip. And
nice. Now what inspired you to take these group rides, or why do these group rides?
So I have to backtrack a little bit for that. I bought my bike Black Friday of last year. When I was picking out my bike, I'm sure you're going to go into this later, but I picked out my bike for a specific reason because I was 385 pounds when I picked out my bike. So I was limited in my options. I bought my bike in Black Friday. I had heart surgery in December. I moved in December. So I had a very lot of stuff going on. I didn't actually get to ride my bike for the first time until March. So I had no idea what I was getting into because it was the first time I was stepped foot on a bike or got on a bike in 36 years.
Wow.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going all in. I want to do this. That's that. I'm doing it. And we were looking around and I saw advertisement on Facebook for this biking Philly. And I'm like, man, that sounds really cool. I lived here almost my entire life. And I've never really gone in the city and just explored. You know, I go over there when I need to. I just don't have a reason to. I live 15 minutes away from Center City, but on the Jersey side. I just didn't ever really go over there. So I asked Misty, that's my fiance, I said, do you want to do it? She said, absolutely. She didn't even have a bike at that point. So I said, all right, we're doing it. And it just gave us setting goals. That's what we have to do. We have to make sure we can do it. And we knew it was going to be 20 miles, but we had no idea how hard it was to ride 20 miles or how hard it wasn't. So we had to said, okay, we're going to, first time out, we're going to go 2-3 miles. Then we're going to go 5. Then we're going to go 10. And suddenly we realized we were doing 25 and 30 miles. And our fear of not being able to do a 20-mile ride was like, oh yeah, that's going to be cake. Now the biggest fear is, do we have enough charge to ride from our house all the way there? No, we probably don't, because that'll be like 35, 40 miles to do everything.
So how did you overcome that?
I stopped thinking about it and I stopped questioning it. Sometimes that's when you do your best work, when you don't think and you just do. So I just did it. And I will tell you, I was scared to death to get back on the bike. Because as a matter of fact, the only bike I ever rode beside this didn't even have gears. It had no freewheel. They were BMX bikes from the early 80s. And I never rode a mountain bike, 10 speed, nothing. So I'm like, I went out front. I was a couple months out of heart surgery and I said, all right, I'm going to do this. And I just jumped on the bike and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just pedaling. I don't know. If I fall, I fall. And it's just like riding a bike. That's why I say it.
It's funny. I mean, it's crazy how life works because I just did a ride. I'm in LJ, it depends on how you pronounce it. LJ, Georgia. I'm in the mountains, and I'm filming some content.
I saw your sneak preview.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Wait till you see these rides. It is amazing. It is so beautiful up here, and I wanted to test out the Testway X5 because I really love that bike. But I'm in Florida, so it's flat. So I wanted to see how the bike performs in these. These are huge mountains, man. So you're going for a mile straight up. I think total elevation is 5,000 feet of elevation. So, but it'll be in the content that I'm coming out. But during that ride, it's funny that you mentioned that you hadn't been on a bike for a while. You mentioned your health issues. But in that ride, I talked about why I ride, and specifically an e-bike. And it's not necessarily because I'm not a fit individual. A little background on me, in my early 20s and 30s, I actually competed in duathlons and triathlons professionally.
Oh, cool.
I had a pro card. I actually represented the U.S. in worlds. So, nice. And I own a gym, so I have a lot of fitness. But the reason I like an e-bike is because an e-bike gives me more freedom than a regular bike gives me. So, and the reason why I choose specific e-bikes in my fleet is because it gives me the 3 things that I need. And I'll talk about that later, but I want to stay on topic here, which is on the health aspect of it. But I mentioned and I talked about anyone watching the video when it comes out, if you are afraid or fear that you can't ride a bike or you can't do distance because of whatever health issue. That's the beauty of an e-bike, because an e-bike, you can make it as easy or as hard as you want, right?
Correct.
I chose to go hard because I want to work out in. Mm-hmm. But even going hard, I'm staying with some assistance because I live in Florida. I'm not used to these hills, right? Mm-hmm. And especially at 56, I don't have the same fitness that I had when I was 25. So the e-bike allows me to feel like I have the same fitness because I can cover the same amount of distance at the same speed that I was doing when I was younger. So it was that freedom aspect, but you just made the point that I was making on that video. And I know coming from me is difficult for people to grasp that, but I'm glad it's coming from you and you saying, hey, I wasn't sure. I mean, it's been 30 something years I was on a bike. I wasn't sure I can do that, but I did it anyway. Yeah. Right? So I love that you said that. Now, I'm going to follow up that question with the following. Now, let's backtrack a little bit. And you talked about your health issues.
Can I interrupt you one moment?
Go ahead.
I have one more point I want to make. It's not just me, though. I said my fiance did it too. She was in a car accident, I think around 20 years ago. She has degenerative spine disease, fused hip. We call it the waddle. She can ride. She can get on her bike, which is right over there, and she can ride every bit as well as I can, as far, because it's electric.
Yep.
And that's it. And she gets her workout and her exercise in.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't electric, she would never even be able to pedal it.
I love that, and I hope people are grasping what he's saying the way I am. For me, I mean, right now, I am motivated to get back on my bike, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm glad you're saying that. So let's talk about that. So now I'm going to make an assumption here that before you got the bike, your fitness wasn't there, your mobility wasn't there. Tell me how getting the bike has changed that.
Okay, so when I started, like I said, when I started looking at the bikes, I was about 385. I started gradually losing weight because I was forcing myself. I have congestive heart failure, so I have a defibrillator in my chest, and what it does, it's similar to a pacemaker, but instead of pacing, it's there for safety in case something happens. Well, at one point years ago, 2008, that's when I had it inserted, the first one. I was at risk of sudden death. So I had yo-yoed. I had up, down, improved. All of my issues were originally caused by sleep apnea, the constant adrenaline firing to the heart. So I was able to last year start doing some different exercises and some different diets, and they got me on Zepbound, which allowed me to start to lose weight faster. I still didn't have the great mobility, but I was never like ambulatory. I could always get out and do whatever I needed to do. Sometimes it maybe take me longer. Well, once I started to get on the bike, my weight loss started to go faster and faster. I am now 285. That's 100 pounds.
Wow, impressive.
So, and it's not really slowing down. I mean, it's slowing down. It's not stopping. Like, I did the drug helped for jumpstart it, but now I'm on my own and I'm continuing to lose weight.
Now, did you do any type of diet or any other fitness routines outside of biking?
During this period, just I do a low sodium diet, and I watch what I eat. I'm not strict on it, like I'm sure like you are, but I was strict on it for years and years and years, and I finally, that was also one of the things too. I wanted to be healthy, I wanted to eat healthy, but I also didn't want to give up on everything I liked. So a smart person told me once, everything in moderation. So That's what I would do. If I wanted to go somewhere and get something that wasn't the best for me. If we wanted a cheesesteak one night, okay, well maybe I'll get a cheesesteak, but I won't eat the whole thing, or I only eat a part of it. But I can't physically eat all of it now anyway, so it works itself out. But that does, instead of having that cheesesteak, maybe I should have had whole clean skinless, boneless chicken breast or something like that. But sometimes you have to, if you don't treat yourself every once in a while, you hate it, and then you'll stop doing it.
It's 100%. We had a saying, and we still have a saying at the gym with our clients, and we tell them that, because we always get asked, what's the best diet? And our response is always, the best diet is the one you're going to follow.
I was just going to say that. What are you going to follow?
Yep, the one you're going to follow.
Right now, she's on the kick. She's trying the Mediterranean stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying it. I told her I will try every single thing you make, but I don't like seafood, and a lot of it is seafood. But I'm still trying it, and I will eat every single thing she makes. But I'm going to tell her honestly, I don't like that. Don't make that again for me.
Yeah. Again, you have to be able to. I mean, it's life, right? We got to enjoy life. Mm-hmm. We only have one life, so you got to enjoy it. Again, like you said, everything in moderation. Mm-hmm. And then if you're going to diet, just find a diet that you're going to stick with. Because it's, for example, the keto diet, the carnivore diet, those are phenomenal diets, but very few people can stick to them. So I don't even recommend them because they're so hard to stick with. You got to have a lot of discipline to stick with that diet. And at the end of the day, I don't think that's really living, right? Because you're missing out on a lot of things. So, so that was your diet. But how about exercise? Is it just biking, or do you do other things in terms of exercise?
My main source of exercise is the biking. Yeah. I do have a gym membership, and I do need to go more, but I don't have time. That's the biggest thing. And everybody says, well, you can do 30 minutes. I'm like, yeah, you're right. But I'd rather get on my bike and ride for 30 minutes than go in a building and be surrounded by four walls. Right. I never used to be into nature. I was never in it, but this past year, it's almost like it clicked. And I don't know. I started enjoying it more.
And here's my take on exercise. Now, with understanding that I am a gym owner, right? Uh-huh. But I tell people all the time, you don't need to exercise to be healthy. You need to exercise to be fit. And there's a big difference between being fit and being exercised. I know plenty of people that are super fit, but they're not healthy. And I know plenty of people that are healthy, but they're not super fit, right? So
very good point.
We have to separate the two. But when it comes to longevity, right, there's been numerous studies on there's specific areas in the world in which they have the most centenarians, right? People that live up 100 plus years. And Costa Rica is one place. There's a place in Greece. There's a place in Japan. And I forget the other ones, these towns. And none have gym memberships, right? Because it's not about actually having an exercise routine. The key to health is movement. That's it. You have to move. And if you look at all these different countries that have people that live 100 plus, there's key components to that, right? Number one is that they all have strong ties to their family. They're very familiar, right? Mm-hmm. They have a very strong connection. Most of them live in multi-generational homes. So that's number one. Number two is they all eat natural foods. They don't eat processed foods. They're not on a diet, but they don't eat processed foods. That's number two. Number three, they all move. They get up in the morning, they have a set routine that involves movement. They walk, they do yard work. Most of the way they earn a living is physical, right? And then the last component of all that is the lack of Stress. They live in very modest homes, very the area, they're not in big cities where it's hustle and bustle, all that stuff. So those are the 4 things that has been proven to allow you to live a long life. So if someone tells you, hey, you need to be fit to live long, that's not true, right? But movement is the key, and I'm glad you chose the bike to be your tool for movement. It is my favorite tool as well. So that's good there. But let me before we move off this subject, let me ask you this question. For someone that is was in a similar position as you are, they're either very overweight, very unhealthy, or they're up in age, right? They're 50 or older.
Right.
What advice would you give them for them to take that first step?
So assuming they're not active.
Assuming they're not active. That's why I said they were in a similar position that you were prior to becoming active. So
you have to want to do it. Let's assume that they decide they want to wake up and they want to do it. The first thing that I would do is if you're not computer savvy, ask somebody to help you. Just go on Google, find your local bike shops. Pick one shop, look up and see if there's any reviews on it. If you're happy with what you see, go take a visit. Ask them if you can try some of their stuff. Just look at it, sit on it, see how it feels for you. Try it out. If it's not for you, go out every night and walk around your house. Just keep walking until you can go a little further. Then maybe take a ride back to that bike shop and see, you know what, I think I can handle this now. Obviously, I'm a little biased. I think the bike is the best option. But you just have to start with those small goals, give yourself those small things, and make sure that they're achievable. Don't tell yourself, I'm going to run a marathon, because you're not going to run around the house. Start with the small goals and go there. Most people really don't give themselves enough credit on what they can do. They always feel that I can't do that. If you take can't out of your vocabulary and just accept that word no longer exists, how are you going to replace it? You're just going to go do it. That's what I would tell you. You just have to have the mindset, I'm just going to do it. Even if I do baby steps, I'm going to go do it. How did you learn how to walk? You didn't just jump up and run.
That's great. That's great advice. I mean, there's everything you just said. The only thing I would add to what you said is the fact that get an accountability buddy or person, someone that will hold you accountable.
That's a very good point. I have my fiance, so yes, that's a very good point.
Yeah, because sometimes, and the reason I say get someone to hold you accountable, because if you're in that position, it's because you need someone to hold you accountable. You don't have the discipline to do it yourself. There's people that don't need it because they have all the discipline. They can do it themselves. They can force themselves to do it. There's very few people that can actually do that. So that's why I think, and once what you said, you have to want to do it for number one, and then move. I don't care what kind of movement it is, but you have to move, and then you got to get someone that's going to hold you accountable to make sure that you actually are doing what you say you're going to do. That's one of the reasons why, and I applaud you for this as well. One of the reasons why I am a big fan of people to start a YouTube channel, whether they want to make this a business or not, doesn't matter. Either YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, doesn't matter. But put yourself out there so that you're accountable. Because if you go on Facebook, if you go on YouTube, you go on Instagram and say, this is what I'm going to do, chances are you're going to do it because you just told the world you're going to do that.
Because you're going to look really silly if you don't.
Exactly. I think
too many, actually, no, I shouldn't say too many, but everybody is afraid of looking silly at some level.
Exactly.
Whether they admit it or not, they are. Like you said, Tom Brady didn't want to look silly.
Exactly. Let's talk about your bike.
Sure.
Why did you chose to buy that specific bike?
Okay, so options. You essentially had like your electric XP, your Aventon. I think there was the Hemingway. They're basically all fat tire 26x4 e-bikes because they all had a 400-pound capacity. So you had that option, or you could get a cargo bike. I did not want something that looked like a boat. I just didn't. And you got to remember, I was not thinking about this from doing any side hustle and stuff. I was thinking about this from going out and riding it. And I didn't comprehend because I hadn't even been on it. I'd never even seen one in person. But I had said, no, that's ugly. I don't want it. So I went, and she actually wanted the Aventon Cinch, which is a 20x4 fat tire that folds. And I liked it a lot, but it was too small for me. And I said, all right,
how tall are you, by the way?
I'm 5'6".
Okay.
And she's 5'3". So I went over to our local shop, Wheelies, and it's about 20 minutes from me, but we had, during COVID, we went there for her oldest son. He needed his bike repaired. And like I said, I had no experience fixing a bike, let alone a mountain bike. And we took it over there, and all the local shops that are like 10 minutes, 5 minutes away, they said, don't even come in the door. We can't be bothered with you. And I was like, really? That's bad business. We took a gamble, went there. The guy who owns the place, Larry, comes out, looks at the bike, give me 10 minutes. He had a whole building full of people, bikes coming out everywhere. He took the bike in the back, brought it back out. He said, I had to make an adjustment. I don't even know what it was. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what the adjustment was. His bike was fine. He didn't even charge us for it. Well, I was so happy. I gave him a 20 or a 50. I don't even remember, because it was worth it. So we had decided that if we ever needed another bike, that's where we were going.
Cool.
Well, I went to Wheelies and I said, Larry, I'm back. And he remembered me. And I said, I need a bike. And he said, okay, this is the one you want. He pointed to the one sitting there. And he said, you want the step through version though? It was the regular Adventure 2, the step over. I said, all right, cool. Now I know what I want. I said, this was in the summer, and I said, I'll make sure I get one. I'm going to wait for the sales. Black Friday came around. I ordered it. I had it shipped directly to him. He built it. I went and picked it up, and that's where we go for everything.
Give me. Do you happen to know the specs on the bike, like offhand?
Sure. Oh yeah, I'm a geek and a nerd when it comes to bikes. I swear I dove over the deep end with that. So it's a 750 watt motor. It comes class 2. It's a 48 volt, 15 amp hour battery. Torque sensor, no sensor swapping, because this is the 2. The 3 is the one that they came out with this year. That one has the 36 volt system that has all the security, like hers. She has the Abound SR.
Right.
I'll tell you what, side note really quick, don't sleep on that 36 volt. Not for top speed, but for torque, her bike pulls harder than mine. It's not even close. And they're both, like, hers is 36 and mine's 48. But
yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I agree. I 100% agree with you. People get hung up, especially now that the 72 volts are out, etc. I don't care for the voltage. I am more of an amp hour guy. I can take a 36, a 48, a 52, a 60, or 72. It doesn't matter to me, but that amp hour has to be high. So that's and I'm going to backtrack a little bit, because most 36 bikes are not going to have the speed that I actually need.
Yeah.
But I can do a mod on the 36 volt bike to make it the speed that I need it. But at the end of the day, I'm like you. I don't. When someone tells me, "Oh, this is a 52 or 60 volt or 48 volt," I don't care. I want to know what is the amp hours on that bike.
Yeah. Well, see, that's where I'm at now. I want to replace it. The bike is amazing. The only thing I did, and I recommend anybody who has that bike or can buy one, because now I think they sell it a little bit cheaper because it's the previous model. Put shorter cranks on it. Because,
shorter cranks?
Yes, it comes with 170 millimeter cranks. They're horrible on your knees, even if you don't have bad knees, because they're too long. And if you take the bike on anything other than pavement, you're going to get pedal strikes left and right. It's really bad with that. And I didn't know this. And I went out and I rode, and the first videos I put on my channel were of me trail riding with my brother-in-law and my nephew, and they're on motorcycles and e-motos. So I'm in like legit off-road trails. And I was like, man, I kept hitting my pedals. And then I watched one of Scott's videos. He recommends do the swap. I was like, all right, hold on. I went and I did the exact part for part stuff that he put on his, put it on mine. Total difference. Easier on my knees, no more pedal strikes. I don't lose any speed from it. I actually gain leverage, which you would think it would work the other way, but I don't know. Best change I made. So if you do get the bike, just look on Scott's channel, search. If you could search anywhere for Adventure and Adventure 2 short cranks, and you'll be good. And it's not really expensive. I think they're like maybe $15 or $20 to do.
Yeah, I to be honest, I've never done what you did. I actually did the opposite. I increased the cranks, but I agree with you. The moment you started talking about off-road riding, and I 1000% agree. I don't do a lot of in fact, I do very minimal off-road riding. Everything I do is pavement and road. So I do the opposite because first of all, I like to pedal. So most of my mods have been adding either, because most e-bikes now come with 48 tooth or 52 tooth. I usually increase that to 57. So I increase the crank, the chain ring with the crank, and I also get a smaller cog in the back.
More top speed.
Right, because I can get more top speed that way. I don't ghost pedal because that's my biggest thing.
Yeah,
is I don't want to
too.
ghost pedal. So I don't ghost pedal, and I can get that. But I 1000% agree with you. If you do off-road riding and you do what I do, it's going to be horrible because you're going to be striking the ground all the time. Because even because I'm a very experienced rider, so I seldom get a pedal strike. But for example, here in the mountains, on my test way, I think I had 2 or 3 pedal strikes on my turns, because the turns are really, really sharp.
Right.
And they're quick. I'm flying down these mountains at almost 50 miles an hour, and as I'm making the turn, I wasn't quick enough, and as I'm coming up, I can feel that scrape. I'm like, shit, I almost ate that.
Is that dual motor?
Yes, so for example, when I first got out here, my first ride, I stayed so I was doing range tests. I wanted to see using the same terrain, mountains, etc., see how much range I can get, and I went through 3 different stages. Right, the first ride we did, we went dual motor, pedal assist 5, balls to the wall the entire time. Right. Second one, and I think we got 52 miles on that ride. The second ride I went dual motor, but we did a lot of pedaling. The first one, no pedal, was just throttle. The second time we kept dual motor. We went between 4 and 5 and pedal assist, but we pedaled the entire time, and that got us to 60.2 miles, right? And then today we did all pedaling, single motor. We did dual motor a couple of times because just the hills were just too steep.
When you needed it.
I'm sorry?
When you actually needed it.
Yeah. When we needed it, I needed it. I think twice on the trip, because it was 3 miles straight up. And I was like, no, I need a little assistance. I was getting burnt out. And that was after riding for an hour and a half. But And then we got almost 78 miles today on the bike. So super happy with the bike. But yeah, so it just depends on the riding conditions. But we went off-road as well. And off-road, even with the test weight, that I did no mods to it, but it has a 52 chainring. I did hit a couple of, we did have some pedal strikes when we went off-road, and I did no mods to it. So I agree that if you do a lot of off-road, you need to shorten that up. I don't get the issues with the knees.
For me, because I'm short, with the longer crank, it basically, when I couldn't get full extension properly and still be able to touch the ground.
I get what you're saying now.
So I'd have to put the seat lower.
Yeah.
And it would allow me to extend my leg. And it's one of the things, if you look it up, that it will help your knees.
Yeah, no. I agree, because you want to touch the ground.
Yeah, I don't have to flat foot, but yeah. I have to at least be able to put my foot down.
Right. Yeah. See, I don't care if I have to put I don't care. So I'm used to riding with cleats. So.
Oh, so you do click-ins?
Yeah. So I don't care.
I don't know if I can do that, but that's pretty cool though.
Yeah. So. And I size my bike. I set my seat so that I get the right extension for my pedaling. And then if I have to stop, I just unclick and just get off the bike.
Right.
And I do that all the time. But I'm used to doing that because like I said, I rode professionally for a long time, and that's how I'm used to riding. So I don't have any issues with that. But I fully understand in your case, if you want to be more secure, you want to touch that ground.
Yeah.
My wife does that. So my wife needs that seat down. She needs to be able to flat foot both sides.
Right.
So she doesn't do a lot of pedaling as a result of that, because it does become uncomfortable on the knees, especially if you're going for long distance.
I don't necessarily flat foot it, but I do what Raspy calls the one-legged lean.
One-legged lean.
You ever watch Raspy ride?
Oh yeah. I watch them all the time. What? So the Aventon goes up to what speed? 28?
It's 28, but I gotta tell you, man, since I put these new tires on it, I'm lucky if I hit 26. And
that's kind of weird, because it shouldn't have dropped it that much.
It's the weight. It's super smooth.
Yeah.
And the range is starting to. I swear, I think these tires need to break in, because
they do.
It's coming. Like, the range is coming back. It's not the same yet, but it's coming back, because I've got about 75 miles on them, and it's getting better. But I have to kill myself now to hit 28. I mean, full on highest pedal assist as hard as I can, and it's struggled. Whereas before, if I did, the highest pedal assist, because it's a torque sensor, I can just cruise, and I'll cruise at 25, and if I push down hard, I'll hit 28 and I can maintain. Now it's like, yeah, those days are over.
Because I mean, I don't know how bad the original tires were. But
they're actually not bad. I still have them.
Yeah, see, that's weird then, because if you look at, so I actually weighed. So for example, I'm going to talk about the test weight, because I
wanted to pick your brain about that. We can either do it now or off camera if you want. I don't care.
Let's do it now. We're going to do it now.
Because I told you I want to replace my bike, but it's only because I want to be able to have the range.
Yeah, range is huge, man.
I have a couple of options. I can get the 3. If I get the 3, I'm in the same boat, but I'll just get 2 batteries.
Right.
It has sensor switching, so I can put it on cadence mode and do 28 without killing myself. And then when I want to ride for exercise, switch it back.
Right.
I can get the SR like hers, which is a purpose-built delivery bike, but it's limited to 25 miles an hour. Or I can look at something else. I was looking at Wired. I was looking at that new Magician Alpha.
For you, I'm going to tell you right now, here's my recommendation. For you, I would not get the Wired bike. They're too big.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I'm taller than you, and I struggle with bike. I have a Wired Scout.
Yeah, that's a good step.
Yeah.
That's still like a 22-inch step through, I think. It's
Yeah.
still a high step through. Yeah.
I struggle with the bike. It's a heavy bike.
Yeah.
I would not recommend a wired. I mean, the wired bike is a phenomenal bike. Don't get me wrong. It's a great bike, super fast, lots of power, way too much power. I had to tone that baby down because when I first got on it, I wheelied the thing and fell on my ass.
I was thinking about the 60-volt one. I think it's the Cruiser.
The Cruiser.
That's the one I was. But they're the same size.
They're the same size.
Yeah.
They're the same size. They're too big. They're too big.
Isn't the Magician the same?
The message is that the same. Now you mentioned that bike. I have two coming. I got the Alpha and the Alpha Mini. So the Alpha Mini might be a great option, but don't buy it yet. Wait till it comes. Let me review that bike, and I'll tell you if that's a good option. But for you, here's the bikes that I'm going to recommend, because you dash, you want distance, you want something that's comfortable, something that's very similar to what you currently have. Mm-hmm. I would highly recommend that you get the Testway X5 or the Juliet Pro or the Anioki 8. Those three bikes first of all, they're gonna fit you perfect. Mm-hmm. They're perfect for people like us, right? They're gonna fit you perfect. You're gonna get the range that you need, and you're going to get a lot more speed that you currently have, because all three bikes I just mentioned, they go up to 40 miles an hour.
Okay.
And they're single motor, because I'm not a fan of dual motor. They're single motor. And you're going to, I think you're gonna be very happy with those, because you don't need to ever do any mods on them. So I'm gonna give you an example. So I think for budget e-bikes, the Puja PU2 or the PU3, the PU2, just to give you the difference between the 2 and the 3, the 2 is a 24x4 and the 3 is a 26x4. So the 3 is a bigger bike, but I have both. Big fan of those budget e-bikes. They give you the range, they give you the speed, they give you the power. Those two bikes are very, very good, but they're budget e-bikes.
Okay.
If you want something that's going to give you comfort in terms of the suspension, the way the bike rides, the way the motor rides, the smooth acceleration, then those three bikes that I just mentioned, the Testway, the Juliet, and or the Anioki, you're not going to regret buying any of those three bikes. Now, having said that though, the Anioki, they're hit or miss. The quality control sucks, but they're very responsive.
That's what I was going to ask you, because it seems like everybody who reviews one, it doesn't matter who it is, they always have an issue. It could be a small issue or a big issue, but it's always something. And I was thinking to myself, if I'm going to spend $1,000, $2,000, I want to get on it and ride it. I don't want to constantly be fixing it. If I want to work on a bike, it's because I want to change something. I want to modify it. Not I want to be able to pedal it. So I kind of wrote them off. Yeah,
they're hit or miss. But
I was thinking the AQ177.
I have the 177.
That's the one I was thinking about.
Yeah, but I wouldn't get. First of all, they're not making that bike anymore.
Okay.
And the issue with the AQ177 is the same issue you have with your bike, is the fact that the AQ177 only goes up to 30 miles an hour. Actually, it goes up to 30 if you're like me, small and lightweight, it'll go to 30. Otherwise, it's 28 miles an hour. But the range is insane.
Yeah.
That bike, the range of that bike is about easy, full throttle, nonstop, 80 miles on that bike. The range is insane. In fact, I have it. I was going to sell it, but what I'm going to do with the bike, and you'll see, because that's going to be coming out soon, I'm doing a mod on the bike, and I'm going to turn that bike into a 50 mile an hour bike.
Okay.
But that's what I'm doing with that bike. But in terms of, I'm still a fan of Anioki. And the reason I'm a fan of them is because it might arrive to you, with some type of issue, but they'll fix it and make it right very quickly. And once it's fixed, man, that bike is gonna last you forever. You're not gonna have to do any mods. It's when I say it's super comfortable to ride, it's super comfortable to ride. The motor is so quiet that you hear the tires before you hear the motor, which is why I love that bike. So those are my suggestions, but do what you do best. Do your research.
Yep.
Figure out what you like. But tell me, because we're kind of running out of time. Yep. I want to touch a couple of things.
Sure.
When choosing a bike, what are your top 3 priorities?
Well, now that I'm a little bit more educated, it's going to be definitely the range. It's going to be, believe it or not, it's going to be the weight capacity because of my size. But then I also look at what the rack can do, because that's a limitation on like the A2. It only has a 55-pound weight limit on the rack. So once you put your bag, all the stuff on there, if you put a couple things, you're in that close range. I don't want to deal with that. Whereas her bike is a 150-pound rack because it's built into the frame. So that, and quite frankly, I want to make sure that if I need to talk to somebody to fix it or to work on it, I can talk to them. I don't want to have to wait 2 months to be able to go. I don't have 3 bikes, 4 bikes, 5 bikes. I live in an apartment. I have 1. So if it's down, I'm out.
Right.
So those are the 3 important things. So the range, it's the speed's nice, but I live on a 6-lane highway. So I'm never going to have a bike fast enough unless I get a Sur-on. Right. It's that simple.
Well, actually, there's
okay, a wired.
Right. There's a wired bike. There's a goat bike. They all beat Sur-ons.
I say Sur-on, but actually, truthfully, I would get the E-Ride Pro, but that's just me.
Yeah. So, but okay, now as for dashing, as a dasher, if someone's asking for advice on what bike they should get, what are the priorities for a bike for dashing?
Okay, I have a little different view than you do, which is good. I think we're good opposites. This is actually good. So I've actually had a bunch of people recently, especially in Philadelphia, this bike ride, because they're all asking questions. What bike should I get? What bike should I get? My answer to everybody who's not a bigger person, it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what they want to use it for. The electric XP40 750. That bike is it's like a Swiss Army knife. It can do everything. It's I don't know how they make them that cheap. And they have good service. So you're going to be able to call somebody, get some help. It's got a reputation. That's the bike. That's one I would consider. But it's a 330-pound limit. And what I've always found is that the closer you are to the weight limit, the faster parts wear out. Yeah. The cranks.
Give me the specs. Give the people that are not familiar with that bike the specs on that bike.
Sure. It's a 20 by 4. So it's like similar size to your. Actually, I think it's 20 by 3-inch tires. 20 by 3. It's a 750 watt motor that peaks at almost 1,400 watts. They have a long distance version. It should get if you weigh under 200 pounds and you pedal, you can realistically get 50 to 75 miles.
What's the amp hours on the battery?
I think it's 20.
Okay.
I think it's 20. They have some, they figured out something with their torque sensor that's almost like a combination torque cadence sensor. So I don't pretend to know the science behind it, but everybody who tests that bike thinks it's insane. Plus, electric all-wheel made a plug-and-play dual battery setup for it, so you can double your range. But for a first bike, I think it's like $1,200.
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. When it doesn't matter who it is, when they always say they want to get their first one, I can't in good faith recommend an Amazon bike that costs $1,000 when I know that bike is $1,200.
No, I agree. I'm going to be so for example, for budget bikes, the bike you just recommended, will be on the top of my list as well to recommend, especially for beginner riders. But there's a lot of other budget e-bikes that are just as good. It's just a matter of the style you like, right? So for example, a lot of people, and I'm not a big fan of them anymore. I used to be a big fan of the moped style e-bikes. I'm right now like more of the step through bikes that look like a bike. That's the type of bike I lean more towards. But if you like the electric one, that's a great bike. Another option I would give people would be the YR20, which is a moped style e-bike. That's a $600 e-bike. But that e-bike, and I'm going to be reviewing it here shortly because they sent it to me. That e-bike has more power and it's a 48 volt e-bike. It's a 48 volt, 20 amp hour e-bike. It's got range, but this is why we talked about the voltage. That bike goes up to 36 miles an hour, and it holds 30 like it's nothing. Super comfortable, light e-bike, 75 pounds with the battery. Very comfortable, but it's a moped style e-bike. You gotta like that style. But for the price, $600. For the price, you're not beating that price. Same thing with the Move Cam. I'm a big fan of the Move Cam e-bike. So they come in a dual motor, single motor. I have the dual motor. I'm not a fan of dual motor unless you live in a place where you have hills. Then yeah, get the dual motor. But if you live in a flat area, get the single motor. Save the money. But those bikes, like my Move Cam, I have destroyed that thing. I have ridden that thing in roads. I mean, off-road roads. I dash with it. I've destroyed that, and it's never given me an issue, ever. And then now I've modified it. I increased the cranks, the chain ring. So pedaling, I can get up to 32 miles an hour pedaling on that thing. And without doing any modification of the battery, I increased the range with the cranks by 10 miles, which is a lot.
Oh, nice.
So it was an easy fix, easy mod, just increase range. Now, I like that bike so much that I just had a battery made for it, a custom battery, 60 amp custom battery. So I'm going to have a total of 80 amp hours on that Move Cam. And then I'm going to do a range test because I think I can easily get throttle only doing 30 plus miles an hour. I can get, with my 80 amp hours on that bike, I should be able to get about 100 miles on that bike now. So
that's crazy.
I'll do a test on it once I get the battery. The battery is made already, but I got to go pick it up. And I'm going to pick it up next week. So we're going to do that. But yeah, so right now, this is the beauty about e-bikes today. The market is so saturated that as long as you do your research, you're going to find a bike that fits you, that you're going to like, that's reliable, and you won't have any issues. Even the Chinese bikes that have horrible customer service, but most of them will last forever. You know, the Ritstar is a cheap bike that's going to last you forever.
I see a lot of them. What's that other one? Happy something? Happy Run?
Happy Run.
I saw a lot of them around.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting bike, though. An interesting company.
I don't know anything about them. You said when you said the Ritstar, I'm like, wait, what's the other one? It's Happy something.
Yeah. The Happy. I am not they definitely have issues. So, and the issue with them is that their customer service really sucks. Oh, so that's one bike that I really don't recommend because they're not cheap.
I don't. Yeah, like I said, I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, they're not cheap. They're expensive. They are high power bikes. They go really fast. But the problem that I have with them is that because I don't mind buying a cheap bike if it's going to be reliable and the customer service sucks, right? I don't mind that. But I don't want to pay top dollar and the customer service sucks.
Yeah,
Because
then you're kind of getting it both ways.
yeah. Then you're like, no, that's not gonna work, right? So, and then the other thing I would say, because we're gonna wrap this up, and 2 more questions. We're gonna wrap this up because I went way over. I enjoyed this conversation so much that I went way over my normal time. But the other thing I'm gonna say is this: no bike is perfect,
Nope.
none, and it really sometimes irritates me when like, for example, the wired bikes or the goat bikes, which is the other, even a Venton. Right? These are high quality bikes, and yet they're not perfect. There's going to be 1 or 2 in the batch is not going to be good, but the company will do right by you. And it bothers me when you get these people that have a bad experience and they want to be in every channel telling everybody the bike sucks. No, the bike doesn't suck. But I use the analogy. I always use analogies with cars, and there's not a single car company that doesn't have a lemon. That's why they created lemon laws.
What's the old line that your parents used to tell you? The empty can rattles the most.
Exactly. So it just, listen, I've been victim of it. I've already talked about Anioki sent me a bike and they had issues with it. Juliet, the Ihara company sent me a Juliet Pro 2 that had issues, but they made right by it. They sent me the stuff. I fixed it. No problem. I just happened to get a bad batch. I've had a total of over 50 bikes.
Right.
And
That's
out
a
of
lot.
50, and out of 50 bikes, I've had just two that had problems. I think that's a win,
That's
right?
pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. So let me let's close with this, Bob. And again, number one, I want to once again thank you for coming on here. This been, for me, it's been fun. I enjoyed
it. I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah. So, what advice would you give someone? Because we never even we're gonna have to do this again in a couple of weeks, because I want to touch on gig work, and we never even got to gig work. But what advice would you give someone that wants to get started with biking?
With biking?
Yeah.
Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. I don't care if it's a pedal bike, an e-bike, a scooter. Just do it. Join the club. And
Amen.
You said really fast when you said the moped bike. The bike that Larry at Wheelies talked me out of was the Ride One Up Rev 1. That's the one I wanted. And he said, no. Yeah. That's too much for your first one.
It is. I was gonna say, for a beginner, first of all, that's a great bike.
I still love that bike. I still might, but not now.
That is a great bike. I'm a fan of Rev 1. Those bikes, all their bikes are really good.
Cat.
Yeah.
We definitely have to do this again because we can both geek out on bikes.
I love it. All right, Bob, how can someone get a hold of you?
Oh, it's easy. You could just go to my channel. It's Growing Young After 50. If you do want to reach me through email, it's southjerseydashing@gmail.com.
I am going to have his information in the description below. I want to thank you guys for watching this. You guys have any questions for me or for Bob, list them in the comments below. He's going to have access to this. We're going to do a collab. So if you're not familiar, YouTube now allows us to do a collab. So whatever you put on my channel will be on his channel. If you don't follow Bob, I highly recommend you do. Go to his channel, subscribe, show him some love. Let me close this by saying, don't forget, ride, hustle, repeat. Love you guys. See you in the next one.